Hey guys, Hackexploit here, back again with another video. And in this video, looking at sAINT. So you might be asking yourself, well, what is sAINT? Well, sAINT is simply put is a spyware generator for Windows, and it is coded or developed in Java. All right. So essentially, the functionality that it gives is it gives you the keylogger functionality. So you'll be able to get keystrokes sent back to your host email. Again, I'll show you how to do that right now. You can take screenshots of the target computer. You can capture images with a webcam. You can also you also have persistence. All right. So let's get started with me showing you how to get it installed or to configure it, and then we can create the malware or the spyware for that matter, and how to move it to your operating system of choice, your test operating system. Again, I do want to throw out a bit of caution because this can cause damage, and I do not want you to perform anything or to use this in any way that may infringe any laws. So please make sure to stay on the right side. All right, so I already have the link open up here. It is a GitHub repository, so the link will be in the description as always. And yeah, you can just clone it, and we need to install a few things before we can move on. All right, so I already have it cloned here, but you can do that for yourself. I usually keep all my scripts that I'm not really keen on, or scripts that I don't really trust, in my optional folder. Again, it's a good way of separating your experimental folders from your, the folders that you can really hold as part of your system. So as you can see, if I list it down here, I already have it here, right here, sAINT. So I'm going to move into the directory. You'll have the same directory. All right, so sAINT. And if I list what's inside, there's a few files you have inside. Now, the first thing you need to do is you need to look at the dependencies that you need to install, and one of them is the let me just get that open right now. One of them is the Maven libraries for the Java JDK. So it's very important that you install these Maven dependencies. As you can see right here, you need the Maven and JDK package installed. So Maven is essentially a library for Java. So make sure you get that installed. I already have it installed. The next thing you need are the libraries that will allow you to generate an executable file or a jar file, which is a launchable Java file. All right, and once you're done, again, it'll tell you to clone the repository, and then you can move into the folder, and then you change the permissions for the configure.sh. All right, so we can do that right now. So chmod, there we are, +x, and the configure.sh. Right, there we are. And once that's done, you can then hit configure.sh. So we can do that right now. So configure, .sh, and I can run you through what's going to happen now. All right, so just give it a few seconds to start up. If you've installed all the dependencies, you should be good, and it should start up right now. Okay, so give it a few seconds, and what I have already, so there we are, it's going to start configuring and building all that is required. All right, now I already have my virtual machine here, my Windows virtual machine, and I already generated the spyware, and I've put it on my virtual machine, but I haven't ran it yet. All right, so let me just open the folder that contains this. So one more important thing is to make sure that your target operating system has a version of Java JDK or the Java runtime environment version 8 installed. That is very, very important. And again, it should be the appropriate version according to the processor and operating system architecture, 32-bit or 64-bit. So once that's installed, let's just go back to the generation here. All right, so as you can see, it's still building the files that we require here, and just give it a few seconds. Again, shouldn't take too much time before we can actually get it running, and we can generate our spyware. All right, so what it's doing right now is it's building all the files required, and again, it shouldn't take too much time. It's really, really fast. So yeah, give it a few seconds. And as I was saying, make sure you have Java JDK on your target operating system, and it's going to generate two types of files. All right, so this spyware will generate two types of files. It will generate a executable version and the Java, the jar application, which is, again, it's up to you on what you feel is more appropriate to install, because again, when it comes down to client-side attacks, it's more about social engineering. All right, so let me just close up my virtual machine right here. And let's look at the process that we have here, and whether or not we can speed it up. Again, it shouldn't take too much time. Just these few, it just has to compile a few stuff here and build the required libraries and the plugins. All right, so again, just let it complete and it should bring up the interface, which is a command line interface. There we are. All right, so let's list the files again, and directly here you can look inside the folder, and once you've configured it, we can get started, right? So you might be asking yourself, how do you get started? Well, as I said, you need to have Java installed, and that is on the operating system in which you're creating the spyware. So Java, we are essentially launching this right here, right? So again, if you want any help, you can check the repository and I'll give you instructions. So Java jar, right? So let's Java jar sAINT, whoops, oh my bad, right? So sAINT.jar, and we launch that, and as you can see, it's going to say this software is provided as is without warranty of any kind. You may use this software at your own risk. The use is complete. The use of this is complete. You hold complete responsibility. So again, I'm just passing out the disclaimer. All right. So once you're ready to go, just hit enter, and it's going to ask you for your Gmail. All right. Now, this is a very important thing. You need to create a Gmail account where it'll send the results. Now, I do not recommend that you use your personal email, Gmail address. If you do that, well, I think you should just leave the video right now if you really are thinking of doing that. So I already created my email and I've already generated the spyware. So I'm just going to run you through how you would do it. All right. So you would enter your email. So let's say test@gmail.com. Again, this is not my real email that I used. So test@gmail.com. Enter your password. It could be, so whoops. All right. My bad. I think I actually just caused a bit of an overflow there. So let me run that again. So test@gmail.com. All right, and I can say, something really simple, an integer password, and then here the options come. Do you want to enable the screenshot functionality, which means it'll take a screenshot every few seconds and it'll send it to the email? Yes, that is very, very handy. Do you want to enable webcam? Now again, this is it'll not work on virtual machines, which I just wanted to get out of the way, but on a real host machine, if the target does have a webcam, yes, it could be helpful. Yes. Do you want to enable persistence? Yes, we do. Do you want to keep the data on the computer? Again, something very, very important here. The thing with this spyware generator is it's going to keep the files that it's generating, or the keylogged your data. It's going to all store it on the computer if you want it to. So usually it will store it in the app data folder where you can find all the files. Again, it depends on your target. If your target is a tech savvy user and knows what's going on in his or her system, it might be a good idea to say no, or you can just hit yes. And once that you hit yes, it's going to ask you enter the number of characters to send the email to. All right. Now what this means is the amount of characters you want your keylogger to grab before it sends an email. So you could enter something like, if you wanted to grab a lot, you can say something like 20. That's an appropriate amount because you can grab 20 keylogs or keystrokes, and then it'll send all the files to the email. All right. So once you're done, just hit enter. And I don't want to create one because I already have, so I'm not going to hit enter. So yeah, once you're done, you just have to check if the information is correct. If it is, just hit yes, and it'll generate it for you, and it will store it. What will do? It will store it for you. Let me list the files again. It will store it in your target. All right, so in your target folder. All right, so if we list the files right here, as you can see, I already copied the file from there, the exe. It's going to generate a sAINT 1.0 jar with dependencies .jar or .executable. All right, so I already copied that to the virtual machine. And again, make sure your virtual machine or your target operating system is running Java or has any version of Java 8 available, whether it's the development kit or the runtime environment. All right, so once you're done, just hit this right here. Just open up the executable. It will not give you any graphical user interface. It'll just start up, and as I was saying, you actually have the ability to check the files, as you can see here. So it is in the app data folder. That is where the files are going to be stored if you chose that option. So let's open that right now, and you want to go to local, or actually roaming. That is where it stores it most of the time. There we are. So as you can see, it generated the folder sAINT. And what we can do now is let's just open up, let's type some stuff in here. So I apologize if my virtual machine is a bit slow. So what we can do is we can just try and open up a notepad here. If that lets us open it. I don't want this to freeze anytime soon because I'm actually running this in quite a low resource virtualized environment. So what we can do is or we can just type in some random searches here. So we ran app data. Let's see, we've ran a few commands there. So I'll open this in a second, but first I just want to so I'm not interested in that. Let's just type some weird stuff like email, what a normal person would be typing in, or would be typing in some documents. And yeah, you can just enter as many keys as you want. And now let's check the email that I used. And as you can see, yes, it has sent us stuff here. So let's look what it sent. Now these ones are from yesterday when I was testing this, and these two are the latest ones. All right, and I'll show you that it does send all the files. So let's look at the latest one. All right, so the latest one, it does send it with the logged keystrokes. As you can see, we entered email, we hit control email, backspace, notepad, and it didn't launch the notepad. How sad about that. So let's look at the screenshots. There we are. As you can see, it took a perfect screenshot. Amazing, really, really powerful. Let's look at the next. The next one is the webcam, but again, it could not take a picture of the webcam because I've disabled webcam functionality on my virtual machine and on my main operating system right now. And then it gives you the text document, which is your key logged or your keystroked characters. So if you open that, as you can see, backspace, pardon me, notepad, control email. So all that I typed is going to be sent. All right, and as you can see, it's gonna keep on sending it as time goes by. So it's just gonna keep on flooding in. So awesome, it's almost like real time. It's like a real time remote access tool or a RAT. All right. So if we look on the app data folder, you can see that it does store it in the cam, but again, nothing is gonna open here because I've disabled my webcam. You then have your logs, which is your keylogger or your keylogged strokes. You then have your screenshots, which are gonna be saved in intervals, as you can see right here. Right, so you have that, which was the latest one. And if you just open that up right now, hopefully Windows doesn't let me down. Opening an image can't be that difficult, right? So yeah, there we are. As you can see all the screenshots taken. And now this is very important because, as I was saying, if you want to keep your files on the host computer, again, it's really up to you. And you can experiment with what you like, but the real trick is using social engineering. So yeah, that's how to use sAINT and how to use it correctly. So again, if we take a look, as you can see, it's sending all the keylogged keystrokes that I've entered, and everything's just generating and sending to me real time. As you can see, there's an image of what we just opened. Fantastic, right? So we do know that it's working. Now, if you're running this on your virtual machine like I am, and you're wondering, how the hell do we stop this? Well, it's really very simple, and this is again maybe one of the disadvantages of this piece of spyware is you can actually disable it really easily, or you can actually find it really easily if you just open up your task manager. If you're on Windows, the default task manager that it comes with, that Windows does come with. All right, so what I'm going to do is I've just opened it up, and you will see that the Java platform SE library will be open, and that's essentially what the applet is running on. And if you disable this, it will immediately stop it, right? So it's taking a fair bit of memory. As you can see, it's taking about 46 megabytes. Again, it's not the best optimized piece of spyware I've seen, but it's really good for beginners, to understand how this really works. So yeah, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you found value in this video. If you did, please leave a like down below. If you have any questions or suggestions, let me know in the comment section, or you can hit me up on my social networks. You can also hit me up on Kick. And if you want the latest hacking news and resources, check out my website, hsploit.com. Link will be in the description, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Peace.